Imagine a herd of sheep grazing peacefully. Suddenly, one sheep starts to wander off. What happens next? In this scenario, we see a clear metaphor for human society. The vast majority of us are content to follow the flock, grazing within the boundaries set by societal norms. But what about the one sheep that dares to wander off, to explore new pastures? What happens to the nonconformist who strays from the path of least resistance? Well, the cost of nonconformity can be steep. In the world of sheep, the wanderer risks becoming an outcast, shunned by the herd. In the human world, the nonconformist faces a similar fate. Social exclusion becomes the mechanism of control. The fear of rejection, the dread of being ostracized, keeps our minds in check, ensuring that we toe the line. But why does society react so harshly to those who think differently? The answer lies in our hardwired need for social acceptance. We are tribal creatures, evolved to thrive in groups. And in groups, harmony is prized over discord, conformity over individuality. Yet it's not just about social harmony, it's also about the comfort of shared illusions. Society, as we know it, is built on a collective narrative, a shared understanding of how the world works. When someone challenges this narrative, it creates a ripple of discomfort. And rather than confront this discomfort, it's much easier to suppress the voice of dissent, to silence the one who dares to question the status quo. The nonconformist, the one who thinks differently, threatens to shatter our comfortable illusions. They force us to confront the fact that the world is not as we believe it to be, and this can be deeply unsettling. In a world that prioritizes comfort over truth, it's no surprise that society resists those who bring disruptive ideas to the table. The cost of nonconformity, then, is not just social exclusion, it's also the discomfort of having to question our own beliefs, our own understanding of the world. The wandering sheep is often ostracized, a clear example of how society penalizes those who dare to deviate. But remember, it's often the one who dares to wander off who discovers new pastures. Have you ever defended a belief not because it was true, but because it was part of your identity? Let's think about this for a moment. We, as humans, are social creatures. We crave connection, acceptance, and a sense of belonging. We find comfort in the familiar, in the shared understandings that bind us together as communities, as societies. So, what happens when a belief we hold dear, something that forms a part of our identity, is challenged? Our identities are intertwined with our beliefs, forming a tightly knit fabric that defines who we are. These beliefs, whether they pertain to religion, politics, or even our favorite sports team, are more than just convictions. They're badges of belonging, symbols of our tribe. But what happens when someone dares to question these beliefs? The fabric ripples, the bonds strain, and our instinctive reaction is to defend, to resist. It's not about the truth anymore, it's about protecting our identity, our sense of belonging. Let's consider a simple example, the belief that the earth is flat. Despite overwhelming scientific evidence to the contrary, there are still those who staunchly defend this belief. Why? It's not about the truth of their claim, but about the identity they've built around it. They're not just defending a belief, they're defending a part of themselves. This is what we call ideological fear. It's the fear of losing our identity, our place in the world if our beliefs are proven wrong. It's a powerful deterrent that keeps us from questioning, from seeking the truth. But here's the thing, growth, real growth, comes from challenging our beliefs, from stepping out of our comfort zones. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also liberating. It allows us to break free from the shackles of conformity, to redefine our identity on our own terms, not based on societal norms. When our identity is threatened, we resist change, even if it means rejecting the truth. But remember, it's only by embracing change, by daring to question our beliefs, that we can truly find freedom. Remember Socrates, Galileo, Tesla? They all faced rejection before they were celebrated for their innovative thinking. This is not a unique phenomenon, but a recurring pattern throughout history. Society, entrenched in its comfort zone of shared illusions, has consistently shown resistance to those who dare to question the status quo. These brave minds, these innovators, are often seen as disruptors, unsettling the established norms and challenging the collective narratives. Their reward: ridicule, isolation, punishment, a high price to pay for the pursuit of truth. Yet it's through their relentless questioning and refusal to conform that we've seen some of the greatest leaps in human understanding and progress. And while we now honor these figures for their invaluable contributions, It's important to remember that in their time they were seen as outcasts, as threats. These innovators were punished, not praised for challenging norms. Can a single spark ignite a wildfire? Can one independent thinker change society? The answer is a resounding yes. Although it might seem like a solitary pursuit, independent thinking can lead to a collective awakening. Like a single drop creating ripples in a pond, one courageous voice can resonate with others, sparking a chain reaction of independent thought. It's in this communion of minds that we see the potential for larger societal shifts. Imagine a world where each of us dares to question, to challenge, to think differently. It's not about rebelling for the sake of rebellion, but about seeking the truth, even if it disrupts our comfort. It's about standing up for our beliefs, even when they're not popular. It's about embracing the discomfort of growth and authenticity. This is the power of collective awakening. It reminds us that we are not alone in our quest for truth. Change starts when one questions collective narratives. In today's world, censorship doesn't just come as bans, it comes as noise. It's a subtle yet pervasive form of control, an invisible oppressor that numbs our senses and overwhelms us with a cacophony of distractions. Consider this. You're in a room full of people all talking at once. In the midst of the chatter, someone tries to raise a point, a different perspective. But their voice is drowned out by the constant hum of conversation. They've been silenced, not by force, but by noise. This, dear listeners, is the nature of modern censorship. The powers that be, the architects of our shared illusions, don't need to silence dissent outright. They just need to make it inaudible, lost in the sea of information. They flood our screens, our feeds, our minds, with a constant stream of news, entertainment, controversy, anything to keep us preoccupied, anything to drown out the voices that dare to question, to challenge, to disrupt. This noise, it's not just random. It's strategically designed to divert our attention, to keep us busy, to keep us complacent. It's the white noise machine of societal control. It's the deafening sound of conformity, the static that drowns out the music of independent thought. But here's the twist. Noise, in its essence, is just a multitude of sounds. It's the diversity of voices, the interplay of ideas. In the right context, this noise can be a symphony, a testament to the vibrancy of human thought. But when it's used to suppress, to distract, to censor, it becomes a weapon, a tool of control. So how do we tune out the noise? How do we find the signal amidst the static? It starts by recognizing the noise for what it is, a distraction. It involves seeking out the voices that challenge, that provoke, that make us uncomfortable. It requires us to be active participants in the conversation, not just passive receivers of information. Remember, it's not about silencing the noise, it's about discerning the signal, the voices that truly matter. It's about creating a space for dialogue, for dissent, for diversity. For in the age of information, the sound of silence has become a luxury. What if discomfort is not an enemy, but a sign of growth? What if the jagged edges of discomfort are actually the sharp tools that carve our authenticity? Picture this, a world where we stop running from discomfort and start welcoming it. A place where we understand that discomfort is the chisel that shapes us into our most authentic selves. It's a challenging concept to grasp, isn't it? But the essence of growth lies in this very challenge. You see, our society has conditioned us to seek approval, to blend in, to not upset the status quo. We're taught to avoid discomfort as if it were a contagious disease. But in reality, discomfort is the catalyst for authenticity and freedom. Imagine a bird in a cage. It has food, water, shelter, everything it needs, but it's not free. It can't fly, can't explore, can't experience the world in its full, vibrant glory. That bird is us, comfortable but not free. When we embrace discomfort, we break free from this cage. We start to question, to challenge, to think independently. We stop seeking approval and start seeking truth. We stop conforming and start creating. We stop living someone else's life and start living our own. But how do we do this? How do we break free from the chains of approval seeking? The first step is awareness. Recognize the cage for what it is, a construct designed to keep us in line. Understand that seeking approval is a choice, not an obligation. Next, take action. Question the status quo. Challenge your beliefs. Don't be afraid to be different. Remember, every great innovator, every game changer was once seen as a threat to society's comfort. Finally, connect with like-minded individuals. Find your tribe. people who understand your journey, who support your quest for authenticity. Together you can create a ripple effect that can spark a larger societal shift. True freedom lies in authenticity, not compliance. Redefine your narrative, embrace discomfort, and build a life of meaning, one courageous thought at a time.